Sometimes I'm not a smart man.
No, you're very clever. Well, at least you look intelligent.
I do. The glasses add like a few points of IQ.
I feel like I'm forgetting something. Am I not?
You've got beer.
I've got a
You don't have
microphone.
notes.
Microphone's a
Chair. You've got your hat on.
Spectacles, wallet. Spectacles, testicles, wallet, and watch. You know why Catholic schools do that?
So you remember which way to do the thingy.
Yes.
How do you know which one's the wallet and which one's the watch?
Spectacles.
I get the spectacles and testicles because you don't put
Testicles.
your spectacles on your testicles.
Wallet.
Why is your wallet on the left
Watch.
and the watch on the right?
I don't know.
That doesn't help me.
Yeah, well, it's just natural to go across yourself.
If you'd said like, I don't know, heart and
Spectacles, testicles, heart, and shoulder.
yeah, doesn't have the same ring to it, but it would at least know.
No.
Even just like spectacles, testicles, left, right. Now,
Catholics are very unemotional about that sort of thing. We can't talk about hearts and things.
okay.
I just feel like this is right up in your grill right now.
I was at Rainbow's End today, and every
Oh.
ride I went on, like my legs are just sticking
Yeah.
out like nothing.
There were a couple of, because I went maybe 4 months ago with Madison.
Right.
And yeah, I like, you know that little drop one?
Oh, the little drop one.
Yeah, the little drop, like
The
when you're-
kiddie drop
the
one.
kiddie drop
Not
one.
the big drop one.
And
Okay,
on
I
it
didn't
with
go
her.
on the little
I was,
drop one.
I had to sit on it with her. It was just me and her, and it was like a team effort between me and the f***ing,
This is my channel.
Sorry, me and the ride conductor, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, "We can do it. Just suck in. I'll pull. You push. We'll get this." He's like, "Yeah, we got it, bro." It was, come on! Like it was. We eventually got there, but
Nice.
I'm pretty happy I didn't have to pay for a vasectomy, so got that out of the way.
Nice.
Yeah. Hey, Mark.
Rainbow's End is a theme park, by the way, here in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Auckland.
It's also a mythical place where leprechauns.
Right.
Where there's
Pots of gold at the end of
pots
the
of gold
rainbow.
at the end of the rainbow.
Yeah.
It's our only real
Theme park with like a roller coaster.
There are
and
other theme parks, but they're all
none
just,
with like the amusement park theme.
they're all just basically glorified
Petting zoos, yeah.
Crystal Mountain used to have a little. It's still that has a really bad roller coaster.
Yeah, it's awful.
Is that Crystal Mountain?
Yeah, it's still there.
And what's the other one?
Butterfly Creek. No, you mean with a roller coaster.
Yeah, I don't mind Butterfly Creek.
It's like a
Butterfly-
it's like
it's
all the
weird-
themes. It's all the themes.
Butterfly Creek.
We've got butterflies and animatronic dinosaurs. I
don't
think we
take-
talked about this before because it's just so weird.
I don't do drugs anymore, and I didn't even do a lot of drugs.
But if you got high, Butterfly Creek would be a
I
great
want to
place
take acid and go to Butterfly
Right.
Creek. And it's weird because you go in there and it's like 36 degrees because they have to keep all the butterflies alive. And then it's just got every theme.
They've
for
got
everything.
like mummies, and they've got petting zoo, and they've got animatronic dinosaurs and animatronic dragons, and they've got meerkats.
Yeah, and they've got unicorns.
Yeah,
Anything.
it's
Anything
just
you
like
can,
pick a theme.
and it's all in there. It's
There's
all
a
in
Rugby World Cup this weekend, mate.
there. Is there?
Yep.
It's like less than a week away now.
This time next week, we will have started the
We
Rugby
will
World
have
Cup.
results. We'll have things to actually discuss
That's
of
right.
note, rather than Rainbow's End and Butterfly Creek.
Yeah.
Which, to be honest, can you get more significant than that?
Rainbow's End is. I don't mean to not go on about non-rugby stuff for too long, but
I don't mind it. I have fun.
it's like I like the fact that there's not much of a queue. Like I've never been to a Disneyland, but I imagine the majority of your
Yes.
time at Disneyland is spent in the queue. Whereas in Rainbow's
Yeah.
End, you're looking at
When we were kids,
maybe
I felt,
5 minutes.
We're saying this. When we were kids, we felt like it was more popular. 'cause
There
you had to queue for ages.
definitely were bigger queues when we were children. It's very expensive to go there.
Do you remember the Motion Master?
They don't have that there anymore.
But yeah, the Motion Master is now a thing where it's the same place.
Guns,
Yeah,
I
you
fucking killed it at that game.
Yeah, don't swear, I don't-
Sorry, that's another bleep.
That's
but
it, we're cutting them,
They
okay?
have those chairs with the guns on them. The chairs kind of vibrate, and like
Yeah.
the previous high score, like from the previous round, I was
Yeah.
looking at it, it was like 17,000. I go on like 21,000, and my wife looks at me like, play too many video games.
Yeah.
But I don't even play video games anymore. I don't watch rugby.
You're now, it's still just more screen time, really. But yeah,
so.
I think Madison was chuffed. She did it, and she managed to get onto the leaderboard. And
They
she-
display the whole.
the whole thing. She was like so thrilled. There was out of 21 of us, she was 18th, and she was like,
Nice.
"Yeah, I won."
Yeah, I was first, and then towards the tail end, like of the bottom five, my wife and my two children they made up the bottom. So the average score was probably pretty decent.
All right,
Across
okay.
my miles away top score, and then everybody
Fantastic.
else's bottom scores.
So the Morgans didn't completely disgrace themselves. They were held up by your end.
Basically. Drinking a beer that I brought.
Whoa.
It's an Irish beer.
Kilkenny's.
Kilkenny's.
Yeah. How about that?
Can someone explain do you know the deal with the thingy and the thingy?
It's like a nitro thing. It's like to keep it. I don't know why.
Keep it fresh.
This always happens, and I'm like a blagger, and I talk shit a lot. And you ask me
You're
a
going to get
question,
corrected in the comments.
Yeah, but it's something to do with like a nitro pour, and it keeps it sort of frothy and creamy and stuff. I don't know.
Do you know why I
think
brought
I
Irish
asked
beer?
my father. Told me once.
Oh, okay.
He's dead now, so I can't ask
Can't
him.
ask him again.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. He might have forgotten. He probably wouldn't have. Yes. Why did you bring an Irish beer?
Because my dad, speaking of dads, I think he managed to be kind of pissed off the Irish.
We're a sensitive bunch. We're fun, but you don't want an Irish person angry at you. We can be quite fiery people. You know, we're all like, that's the thing in an Irish pub. It's all fun and laughs until something just kind of goes a little bit off, and then it's just very, very intense. Quickly though, then it's over pretty quickly.
How deep do we go with the Irish stereotypes? Because I also want to go with the stereotype that the Irish are probably the most generous people, just with the small sample I've got on the rugby channel. Like every time I see like the buy me a beer thing on my channel, it's like there's freaking Irish people everywhere.
Wow. Yeah, they're lovely. Have you been to Ireland?
No.
So it's just, I don't know. It's like home for me. Well, I'm from New Zealand, but that's where it's a weird thing when you go back to your kind of ancestral place. It kind of feels like another home.
Right.
But yeah, they're the warmest, loveliest, most fun, sweetest, kindest, funniest, very funny.
But don't make them angry.
No, yeah, they just blow up and then they cool down pretty quick. So it's not, they don't the ones I know don't really hold grudges.
Okay, I actually have an example of that from long ago on 2 Cents Rugby. When I first started out, the only person to ever give me genuine like grief about wearing their country's jersey when I'm not from their country was an Irish guy.
Oh, right.
He was like, I hope you have some Irish roots. Otherwise, if you're wearing that jersey, you're just taking the piss. And he went on this big rant, and then this stream of Irish commenters just started like laying into him like, what the hell are you talking about? This is nonsense, blah, blah, blah. They destroyed him.
Yeah.
And then he came and kind of apologized. But that's the only guy who's ever
gone at you.
Gone at me for that.
Well, like
people all the time are like, who are non-English or non-Australians, are like, what the hell are you doing? We're in England or Australia?
Really?
Yeah. New Zealanders can't get over the fact that I would wear a Wallabies jersey.
Right. Well, because it's like the first thing that strikes you when you stumble over. You're like, so why is this Kiwi guy wearing a Portugal jersey? Like,
where are you actually from?
Yeah. This is weird.
How dare you?
Yeah, but like I think Ireland definitely is not completely immune of. Every country has arseholes too.
Okay.
But there are Irish arseholes.
I didn't even think they're arseholes, but some people took it to heart when my dad said in his World Cup prediction, which I prefaced with the fact that predictions are kind of a mug's game, and they're all,
So they're going at Gaza.
Not too much, but just like.
So
in his predictions, he's like, Ireland's going to come second in the pool.
Yes.
Because I think he likes what he's seen from South Africa. Mm-hmm. So he said Ireland second in the pool, make it to a quarterfinal, but then in his prediction run, they hit France, the hosts, and then they lose. So Ireland out in the quarterfinal.
People get upset.
And people took that like, you writing us off. Like, you just dismissing us. And I was like, man, like losing to South Africa and France at the World Cup wouldn't be like...
That's not
disgraceful.
But it means so much to them right now. There's this massive monkey on their back.
Yeah.
Like it's... and there's this enormous hill to climb, and they've been so good for quite a long time now that it almost feels ruthlessly unfair.
I should say, in his same prediction, he also predicted New Zealand would lose a pool game to France, and we would lose a quarterfinal to South Africa. So the same two teams. He said the same two teams that would beat them would beat us.
So he was just trying to call it the way he sees it.
Basically.
Yeah.
He was just speaking with his heart.
I saw that video, but I don't think
he wasn't dismissing anybody.
He was just being Gaza, wasn't he?
He was just asking him to pick a team, and he's just like, this one, I reckon this one's going to win.
It was odd. Like, I don't usually see the family semblance between you, similarity, sorry, and you could actually see your face structures look kind of similar.
Got big schnozzers.
Yeah, you're just like a taller, lankier, younger version of your father. Really,
I think I resemble him to a degree. I think I got a bit more my mum and me. My brother actually looks more like
your pop. All right, okay. All right.
Yeah, same color eyes. Same
Can you do a side-by-side with your mum and send it to me one night?
I'll forget.
Yeah, and I was about to make a very inappropriate joke about that.
Yeah, don't
as
do
well.
that.
I won't.
Hi, Mum.
Hi, Mrs. Morgan.
This is a podcast.
Called 2 cents, gets distracted. Oh, I didn't turn my...
Messages.
Oh, no. Don't worry, no one likes
This
me.
is not I said it's a podcast. I didn't say it's a professional podcast.
Well, we get paid to do it very small amounts of money. So does that make it a professional podcast?
Maybe semi-professional.
We're semi-pro.
Spotify is one platform where you can hear this podcast if you decide not to view our faces.
Yes, if our faces are too much for you, you could also go to Google Podcasts.
Or even Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, and if really you just really want to get down on some ASMR, and we can open a beer. I'm really looking forward to opening these beer cans afterwards.
Yep.
You could listen to us on Apple Podcasts.
I just said Apple Podcasts.
Flip, because we can't say Stitcher anymore because they've gone.
You can say the...
Podbean.
Podbean. iHeartRadio.
Ah, that's fine.
There you go.
Jeez, with that Stitcher going out has really thrown me.
Yeah, that's part of your routine.
It really is.
Now,
You know,
we've been
knocked out
faffing
me.
on for a wee while, but there is a Rugby World Cup coming.
Faffing, not fapping,
Apart
thankfully.
from my dad, well, maybe a bit later. My dad did make his predictions, kind of
Yes.
off the cuff. We are going to get to...
They're pretty logical down the line.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't think he
There was
picked
nothing-
anything too kind of outrageous.
Yeah, I did it, and I did in a bit of an outrageous pick.
Really?
I did. It would piss a big proportion of people off, what I did. But I didn't feel myself doing it. I was just fooling around. So calm down, everybody. Anyway, that was pointless. Go on.
We are going to talk some stuff about the Rugby World Cup. We've got some questions
Yes, we do.
from the viewers
You put it out a little community post today.
while I was in the Rainbow's End car park this morning.
All right. Yes. Fabulous. Yeah. And I had a quick glance at some of the questions. There was a question about wine and pastry, which I'm really looking
Oh,
forward
okay.
to.
Yep.
But that's the only one I can really remember.
Okay.
So should we crack into those? And then the other thing we got to do is just look ahead for these games that are going to be coming up, which is going to be massive. We let's read out the names, but I'm not going to edit in
Right.
all their faces. And
Also,
all
I'm
the
not sure.
names and
Does
stuff.
me buying an Irish beer make up for Gaza dismissing the Irish?
But then
It
there's
cost me like $26 to get a six-pack of Kilkenny.
wow, that's very kind. It's probably
It's an olive branch.
maybe it's a gesture of sorts.
You know I love you, Ireland.
But then there'll be a bunch of Irish people going, "Why are you buying Kilkenny? Why don't you just get the freaking Guinness?"
They did have the Guinness there, but I think...
I actually like the Kilkenny more.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I did see someone once in one of the comments say
Smoother.
that, yeah, you go with Kilkenny ahead of the Guinness. The Guinness is more like
I
the
like
commercial
Guinness.
one.
Yeah, my old man used to drink Kilkenny.
Did he really?
Two mentions of my old man so far.
Yeah, the feels. It's Father's Day.
Yeah, it is Father's Day.
Here in
Happy
New
Father's
Zealand.
Day.
You're a dad.
I'm a dad.
You
You're a
managed
dad.
to impregnate a woman.
I did. I slipped one past the keeper. Yeah. Got it right in the hole.
Just the once.
Just the once. Yeah. Yeah.
You're the reason your superannuation
Only-
is going to have to go up to like age 70 because you didn't produce enough children to pay taxes.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Just the one for me. But there could be more floating out there. So hello to all those other children of mine that may be out there.
I thought you were going to say like hello to all the other dads who are celebrating Father's Day. Like, no, to all your bastard children.
I don't know any of them. I've never met them. Well, they don't exist. I haven't been informed about any of them.
Okay,
Gee,
no,
it's all
not
sounding,
yet.
It's all sounding
Once
very
this
dodgy.
episode goes
I'm sorry,
out.
I've spent the whole day editing today.
Right.
Like non-stop editing.
I've been on roller coasters
so
and
I'm
like
feeling
log
quite-
flumes, so I'm
feeling-
zoned out. This is
I'm-
probably the weirdest episode
I
so
feel
far.
quite like out of it, or not
Yeah.
out of it, but just quite brain dead. Like
Yeah.
editing is basically you have to make 1,000 mini decisions.
Yep.
And it's out. We'll talk about that later too.
Yeah. Question 1,
Let's hear it. I'm in a good shape to answer this.
McMaverick.
McMavs?
Is Eddie Jones full of absolute crap, or has he got a plan up his sleeve?
Who knows with Eddie? Like it's really hard to say. Like I want to say he's full of crap. There are some. The results have just been absolutely ghastly. He's just been so on the front foot, on the attack about everything. He's
Defensive, like offensive defense kind of thing.
Yeah, wildly optimistic at the same time. Nothing but losses so far. But geez, it would be the end of the classic Eddie Jones story if they pull it out of the bag and they get themselves to a final or a semi, or even if they get to a semi, I think that's a success. And they've got a pretty sweet little line of the draw. Like they could be playing Fiji in a quarter final. Like
Fiji's in their pool.
Oh, okay. Well, that was not going to happen then, is it?
They could get Argentina, Japan, England
Yeah, right. Okay.
in a quarterfinal.
The one we all want to see is England because there's that.
Yes, that's the way Gazza drew it as well.
Yeah,
It was the dream clash.
It is. It is. That's really, really tantalizing. But is he full of shit? Yes. Is it possible he could pull something out of the bag?
Also, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I think we've seen enough from his side that there is something cooking there. But I do also think that he's deliberately setting expectations pretty low. I do think having a clear out at this point doesn't make 100% sense.
And I still think when I see that team play for periods, I'm like, there's a good footy
team in there. Yeah.
There's a good footy team in there.
Exactly right.
Like, I would like to see, the player I want to see more of is Langi Gleeson.
Oh, yep.
Mark Ngawatinawasi, he's obviously quality. And, like, the big unknown for me is Carter Gordon.
Carter Gordon.
Carter Gordon. Sounds like a
10.
superhero, doesn't it? Because he's produced, when he came on for a couple of late appearances in the Rugby Championship.
He looked good.
He looked really
classy. And then Eddie actually said there's a difference. Like, it's easy enough to come off the bench and look good. It's a different thing to start a game and look good.
But if he can put that together for 80 minutes and get his kicking boots are just not.
Well, someone actually asked, this was Fizak said, who will Australia have do the goal kicking because Gordon and Donaldson are both questionable.
Can anyone else do any kicking in that
Not
team?
really. I mean, Nick White can kick long distance ones every now and again. They didn't take Reece Hodge, so
yeah.
Not really. I think it's going to be Carter Gordon.
Unless there's just, whatever Mark Nabadiswasi likes a boat, or something like that, or who knows? Yeah.
Do you think World Rugby, this is from Da Silva.
Da Silva, hello.
Do you guys think World Rugby would be game enough to enact a fixed forwards backs bench role after the South Africans did their 7-1 split?
Well, this is all off the back of that punter from the Off the Ball podcast.
Matt Williams, who's a bit of a gas bag.
Yeah, well.
He's a bit of a clickbait
That's
merchant.
what all these guys are
employed
like
to do.
Well, us too. Like, we got to talk. We got to have takes, and sometimes, you're going to say things that are going to upset people. But I thought that was crazy. I thought that it was just a tactical thing. If they really want to enact if it becomes to a situation where we have props playing on wings and it's dangerous and all that sort of stuff, and there's a body of evidence to suggest it's dangerous, sure, start to review it and look at it. But at this stage, it's purely tactical, and it's
just a tactic. Some days it's going to work, and some days it'll...
freaking risky tactic.
For sure. Even the 6-2 was risky. And every now and again, you've seen teams take two backs, and then within 5 minutes, some guy gets injured, and then one of your backs is on, and then another guy gets injured. You end up with your halfback on the wing, your replacement halfback. We've seen 100%. It. Sometimes it backfires.
And so all it takes is 2 injuries in your back line, which isn't a lot.
Which is not uncommon. It's not happened every game, but it's...
And then, so I don't think it's... and if they want to do it, they do it,
I think it just adds an extra element to the game. I like it. I had no problem with it.
But do you reckon they're going to put in a rule around it? I think only if...
I hope not.
They'd only do it if it started to create real risk and problems. But it hasn't done that of late. There's no evidence to suggest that it's doing that. So I don't think they should. If you put 8 forwards and then completely poop yourself at some stage.
Who's going to be the top try scorer, asks them one Stockles.
It depends. We've got a couple of games where we could knock up a few tries.
Will Jordan could always knock up a few.
Well, Mark Talia could.
Damien Penault.
Yes. So
I'm thinking backs. Some of the hookers actually have got really great try scoring records. I think I did a video at the last World Cup about who could break the World Cup try scoring record.
What's the number? Is it?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Is it 7?
Is it more than 7? Is it 8?
I don't know.
I feel like one of the guys was Montoya because he scored a few tries from the back of the Argentinian maul at the last one.
Mark Ellis got 6 in one game against Japan.
So he could go a couple of tournaments. Like Montoya could still go this World Cup, next World Cup if he bags a few tries. He could break the overall record.
The overall record, or not
maybe not likely for this tournament. No.
Yeah. Who's going to get it this tournament? I'm going to go out on a leg and out on a limb. And say Mark Talia.
I thought you were going to say Mark Ngawatinawasi.
Oh, that would be out on a...
That'd be a limb of a limb. That'd be out on a toe.
Yeah, I just don't think he's got the team around him. I mean, he's got a more competitive pool. You know, that's why I think it'll either be a Frenchman or a Kiwi, I reckon, in the pools that they're in. Who else has got super soft pools?
Well, France is in our pool, so you could go with a Pinot or a Villiers.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Ramos is
Yeah.
not as prolific. I think Pinot is probably the most likely. The
Ramos
French
is great
guys.
at being the end of a movement. He finds himself in the right spot at the right time a lot. He does.
I'll say Pinot.
You going to say Pinot?
That's pretty safe.
I'm going to say Talia.
There you go. Wingers.
Vingers.
Who are the players? Says Peter O'Bertberry.
Obert Barry.
I think so. The font's very small, and I have poor eyesight. Who are the players that the main contenders cannot afford to lose?
Main
So
contenders.
Dupont for France. They can't really afford to lose him.
No, if they lose him after losing Untermac, they're going to be.
You feel like their chances take a big hit. Like they've got good halfbacks, but it's a big downgrade from
It
Dupont to
is.
anybody.
It is. It's like the Carter to. Who was the guy that went in after Carter? The young
Colin
South London?
Slade.
That's right. And then it went Aaron Cruden and then it
then
went
Beaver, yeah.
Beaver to kick the goal. Who are so I would say that Australia cannot lose. Oh God, who can they not lose? Angus Bell
True.
I think is their
Yeah, then their propping stocks below Tupou and Bell don't look great.
Yeah,
like just
yeah.
experience
And also he's-
scrummaging power wise.
Yeah, they'll just be completely wrecked up front, and he's just been playing so dynamically and so well. The English, I would. Oh, geez, we have to do this for how many of these teams? 2 from each pool will do, maybe.
Okay.
For the English, I think if they lose, you know who I'm going to go. I'm going with another prop. I've been liking Genge. He's been the only sort of bright spark that I've seen.
True. And a sometimes pretty quiet English pack, eh? Even Itoje is
Yeah.
not like been up to his
No.
normal standards.
He's a shadow of what he was at the last World Cup. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe he's just getting ready to launch here.
Maybe. I think the prop thing's good. Like Cordella for the Argentinians. He's their one solid, kind of rock solid tight head prop. Like if
We're just
you
gonna pick props
basically. It's you need that. If you're South Africa,
We saw what happened
you can
when
afford
we
to
lost
lose your
Tyrell
first string
Lomax.
prop. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
even true for Ireland as well. Like I think they're
They lost
down like
Tard
for or Andrew Porter because
Yeah.
Kian Healy got injured prior to the World Cup, so he's that's their second choice guy. So
think the Irish have Sexton, though.
if Porter, maybe you're true.
I think because they are a real shadow of themselves when they don't have Sexton on the park. For the All Blacks, who would you say?
Which position are we? Right now, Locke is looking a bit light, but that's only because Retallick's not available. Maybe Aaron Smith. I mean, Roygaard's got potential, but
Roygaard, I watched that try again today. It was a cracker of a try.
But it'd be like chucking like for Ireland if they lose Sexton. It'd be like chucking that youngster Crowley, and it's like he's got heaps of potential, but is he ready to run the ship in a quarterfinal?
Manny Lebock seems to be doing a pretty good job of it. Well, he played well the other week.
He did.
So South Africa, if they lose, I think Khaleesi.
He's looked so sharp.
He's
eh?
looked so magnificent since he
Yeah.
got back. Who are we forgetting?
Oh, there's loads more.
Of the big
Who are the
teams?
potential giant killers of this tournament? Asks Jennifer.
Not so much a giant killer, but because they're tier 1 nation themselves, but Scotland, I think, could definitely make. They just need to get one victory against one of those two teams, and then it throws a cat amongst the pigeons.
Fiji.
Yes.
Even
But
though
once
like
again,
that's hard with them because they're the highest ranked team in that pool.
I don't see like the likes of Chile or Georgia or Romania or Namibia knocking a team. If they do, incredible. I don't think Japan have got a. Like nobody saw Brighton coming, of course, but
But there's a bit of a downgrade from the last World Cup to this one.
I think-
They're not at home anymore.
the most likely of the quote unquote, sorry for being disrespectful, the minnow teams, it's probably Georgia. You know, they've got proven success against Wales,
And the gap between them
they
and the
bet-
teams
they-
like Wales, Australia, Fiji is not as big as it is from Namibia to New Zealand kind of thing.
yeah. Look, I hope those other guys have the other smaller nations have their moments, have a great.
Italy a chance? They've got a good young team, but they've got France and New Zealand in their pool.
Yes.
Could that be a giant killing thing for them to get their first ever victory over the All Blacks or first victory over France in donkey's years? Is that too bridge too far?
I really don't want to say yes. I don't know. It's because I'm so clouded by my own bias. I'm nervous about it but there's nothing to suggest that they will. What's the closest they've ever come to us? And they were the last in the Six Nations. They played far better in the Six Nations.
That last time we played them, it was close for a while, and then we blew them out in like the last 20 minutes.
Which could potentially happen again. You know?
Yeah. This goes to my Gaza comment earlier. The baffling, in my opinion, underestimation of the Irish team's potential to win the World Cup.
Who asked this question?
This is from 22 Grenner.
Thank you, 22 Grenner. I appreciate your view. Or your listen. Wherever you're sampling this particular content. It's appreciated. 22 Brenner. Why do we? What is it? What the baffling?
I think it's simple. I think it's humans are conditioned to look at the past and go, that's probably what's going to happen in the future.
Do you know what Dr. Phil says?
What does Dr. Phil say?
Dr. Phil says the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior.
Yeah, I think that's how bookies' odds work.
Yeah.
Our brains go, well, that's what happened before. It's with everything, with learning anything.
Yeah, but it's not. It's
you want to see those patterns. So even though the fact that Ireland have won a series in New Zealand, number one side in the world, like done all this Grand Slam, it's still just like you look at them and go, quarterfinal.
Yeah, well, no, it's not. It's not the fact that I don't think it's so much the fact that it's a quarterfinal.
And side of the draw.
It's the position that they're in. Absolutely, I think if they were in England's position in England's pool, I'd be like, yeah, they'll get out of the quarterfinal.
For sure.
They're far stronger than any other team on that side. They're absolutely fine. But unfortunately, for them to progress past the quarterfinals, they very much could do.
New Zealand.
I think they will.
Yeah.
I think Ireland will get past the quarterfinals. I want them to win. They're my second favorite team, so I don't want to play them in a quarterfinal. I think that France and South Africa will be going home in the quarterfinals.
Wow.
Boom. And
Shots fired.
I
Leave your angry comments in the comment section.
But that's what I think.
About why Tony is a windbag.
But that's kind of like a bit of a heart call too.
Yeah, true.
It is a heart call. So I think, well, yeah.
Well, ultimately, there's
think
no
they'll be
way of doing a prediction on that bloody side of the draw without sending New Zealand, France, Ireland, or South Africa home. Two of them have got to go.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work.
I think they'll have a quarterfinal against South Africa, and they will send them.
I reckon if Ireland can get the quarterfinal hump off the back, then they'll smash.
By the way,
thing.
it's not personal. It's not like it's just someone's opinion. It's just an opinion. These are the best teams in the world, and I could absolutely 100% be so easily wrong.
Yeah,
and South Africa are incredible. Like if any of those teams are on the other side of the draw, they fly through. They absolutely fly through. But the reason why it's a baffling thing that the people are writing them off is because what I just said is such a bomb. Like they either have to beat two of the former champions, and they, like to put themselves in a good position, and then they also have to beat the favorite at home. Like
tough.
That is tough.
Yeah.
It's super tough. Like, and then it doesn't help people's perceived ideas of what's going to happen in terms of what has happened in the past.
Yeah.
Like they were better than a couple of those Argentinian teams that they got sent home by. They completely pooped the bed when they played us in 2019. They did not put a good account of themselves. So that's why, I'm sorry, Brenner 22, that it's happening. But I think, if they can get past that quarterfinal,
no reason they can't go on and win the damn thing.
Yeah.
Because that pressure will be, I think, the greatest.
You want to hear my final?
Okay.
My final, New Zealand, Ireland. That's who I think will be in the final. I did my predictions last. I did that thing, the little thing I use, and that's how it ended up for me.
Really?
Yeah. And New Zealand, funnily enough, won their fourth championship.
Breaking Irish hearts.
Yeah, breaking Irish hearts. Yeah. But people do get really, really angry. But what are we supposed to do?
There can only be one winner. That's just the way. I did 3 predictions at the last World Cup, and none of them were right.
Really?
Yeah, I did head-to-head recent record. Like, what's the form say? Who's going to win? It didn't work.
None of it.
I did the World Cup record. Who usually wins against the other team in the World Cup?
Did you go New Zealand?
I think because New Zealand's record going into 2019 was pretty good, I think New Zealand ended up running all through the predictions.
We'd won 2 on the bounce. We were the world's top team at the time going in.
Oh, no, I think we weren't the top team. Were we second? But anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. As soon as I said that, I think that France and South Africa would be going home. I just felt the hate, like just coming. Like, yeah, people get irritated.
But it doesn't mean you don't think those teams can win the World Cup.
No, and by the way, like, and it's tough when you take those sort of positions, especially when you're a Kiwi. Let's get sympathy for New Zealanders. This is going to be tough. We're a very small population, so when you take a New Zealand argument online, you don't get a lot of support. You really do, because there's not many. There's no one. But if there's a South African or an Irish or a French,
Their Irish population's about the same as us.
oh, they're more vocal. I don't know. Maybe
passionate.
you just completely shattered my argument. But I feel like a South African argument just gets like a huge amount of like a tidal wave of support.
Speaking of a South African argument, Abraham
Yes.
Tomahawk says, during the recent Breakdown, which is the TV show here in
God,
New Zealand debacle,
caused such a stir.
are
Didn't it?
the Kiwis becoming the new Saffers by whining when they lose? All the furore about blah, blah, blah. You've seen the thing. So.
Yeah, I think one thing you got to keep in mind is it's a New Zealand show for New Zealanders.
The primary audience is New Zealanders.
People watching Sky Sport on 7:30 on a Sunday night.
Yeah.
Like in their homes, on their lounges, with no idea of what the heck is going on YouTube or Twitter or whatever.
Yeah, they're not reading the comments.
Bunch of baby boomers.
Yeah.
You know, that's the primary sort of audience for that particular thing. And it's kind of like so like a lot of the time they kind of measure, but that one was not. But it kind of reminded me of like, you
SA
know,
Rugby Mag.
a little bit like that, but also like, you know, if you invited a friend round when you're a kid,
Yeah.
and or something, and then you have a massive fight with your sister or someone or your brother,
Right.
And they're like, this is weird, or like your dad gets really angry at you about something, and you're like, well, you're not meant to see this usually. This is not.
This is behind closed
This is
doors.
behind closed doors. So it was
Right.
kind of like the world
Okay.
saw a little bit of like,
Okay.
you know, what we get up to at home a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and like, and to be fair, what he was saying, a lot of it was just
Trash.
a bit of bullshit,
Yeah.
really. But he has to come out, and they're very much geared for sensationalism and
Yeah.
debate and argue. I'm pretty sure that him and JK are geared up to try and rile each other up, like
Yeah.
some sort of like bullshit. Pardon the interruption type
Yes.
thing, you know, that sort of
Yeah.
ESPN kind of style to like, you know, because friction gets engagement.
And
all
that's
that
what's
sort of stuff.
happened. They've got the engagement
Yeah, they
thereafter
got-
as well. I
they
mean,
would've got
Jeff
cracking
even
views.
mentioned, I think, during that show that
gonna go on the
we've
offensive.
got a lot of South African viewers who will tune into the breakdown, and then he proceeds to do that, just
Obliterate, yeah.
stirring that pot.
Yeah, and you click on it and you write it, and then he's freaking trending on Twitter, and like, it all goes into the Sky Sports coffers.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
I spotted
so-
that one, and I thought, like, this is some clickbaity bullshit.
Yeah, I think, but they wouldn't. I didn't hear any of them saying that the South Africans didn't deserve to win. Like
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people saying they were whinging about the
But then there was a
result.
big
They-
but.
They were whinging. Yeah, they were
They
whinging
slowed
about
the game down,
they're
and
slowing
they
the
had
game
7
down.
forwards on the bench, and then they're faking injuries, and Scotty
Yeah.
Barrett didn't even deserve a
And
yellow.
look at these two breakdowns.
Oh,
where
God,
you
that
can't
was
see
awful.
anything. Yeah, that was a little cringy. But yeah,
That
it
was
was,
super
but I
cringe.
don't know. He has to say something every single week. He's on there. But yeah, that was. But a lot was made of it. Like most of our comments on our last week's podcast were just about. Good to see a couple of Kiwis aren't complete assholes. Like
I feel like they are not
You know?
representative. Most of those post-match shows aren't representative of most fans.
no,
Yeah.
not at all. Most fans and like even like the vocal minority online who are just shouting each other down and stuff. Like you know what I've been really enjoying on my podcast? Oh no, on our podcast, but when it's on my channel, people trying to have creative ways of sneaking penis through, like go penis, and then but then like all my like. You know how I mentioned that we don't see all the comments if there's rude words in there. They go into like a different area. We have to show it and see if it's offensive. It's just a stack of penises. And there people can say penis.
So Tony's got a stack of penises.
Yes.
Good to know.
So that could be the thumb.
Who's going to be player of the tournament?
The player?
This is from Chris with a bunch of numbers.
the player of the tournament.
I mean, if France win, it's
I'd
going to
ju-
be Dupont.
If South Africa win, it's going to be Sia Khaleesi.
If Ireland win, it's going to be Sexton.
If New Zealand win, it's going to be Scott Barrett. He was playing so well. Like, it's gone out the door. No one's remembering how well
That he was in great form.
He was in cracking form.
Yeah. It'll be maybe Savia.
Maybe Will Jordan.
Maybe. It's not going to be a prop, folks. It's not
Yeah.
going to be a prop. It's probably not going to be a front row at all.
Franz Mal-
maybe Marx.
Maybe Franz Malherbe. Maybe. Yeah, Marx could get it.
He also asks, are England and Wales as stuffed as everyone thinks?
I think Wales are more stuffed than England for whatever reason. They have been wildly poor, but it's a World Cup and they've got all to play for. And that whole, like, if they can get a little bit of that sort of siege mentality of like everyone's against us, no one thinks we're going to do shit. Let's absolutely like shove it right up the asses of everybody and get the whole of Wales or the whole of England behind us. Let's go a Disney movie on this. Pardon me.
ASMR burp.
Yeah, it was a bit of an ASMR pit. Watch out for the fizz on that.
Oh, yeah, true.
Oh, that sounds like a squelchy asshole. Look at
Well, I
that.
did get a...
The old squelchy.
I don't know if I got a squelchy... Can I take a sip
What
of
do
that?
you can do whatever you like. You're an adult.
Good. I was going to say, I did get a bit of a wet bum today on the bumper boats.
Oh, right. I thought you and your wife were testing some stuff out.
Bumper boats. My son
Is that what you call them?
came at me from behind
Oh, God.
and his bumped my boat, my soft...
I didn't go on the bumper boats when I was with Maddie.
She's probably under the height restrictions.
Yeah, but she, when I remember being a kid and like being in the front of my dad's bumper boat.
Okay.
Yeah. How's your paw?
I don't know.
We'll see. Looks all right.
Looks all right.
Done great. Okay. I've still got some from my last.
Oh, I didn't even know there was some left in there. Oh, there is too. Oh, you silly numpty.
You silly twat. Sorry I called you a twat, man. I know you hate it when I do that.
There were a couple of other questions. The referee importance in the game and the bunker system. That's from Coleman Cooney. The referee importance thing, I feel like...
What are we talking about?
Referee importance. How important are the referees?
Hopefully not that important.
I feel like teams need to take, and fans also need to take ownership of the fact that your team also needs to
Play well.
Well, not just play well, but like manage and respond to the referee correctly. Like every team should be doing research into the fact that here's the trends of this referee. He is very strict about blah blah blah.
And this is what
this guy
Richie-
can get away with. Richie was the king of it. Where is the line? How far can I get to
Yeah.
it without going over it? That's your job as a coaching staff and a team to manage. If you guys are getting pinged and if you're like, man, this ref's pinging us out of the game, well, stop doing whatever the ref
Yeah.
is saying. I mean, very rarely I feel like, is it a case where the ref is just like, well, I hate these guys. I'm just going to ping the shit out of them.
You know what I watched the other day? I was chasing great, and they actually had, I don't know if it was Jakob Piper, it was one of the refs.
Right.
And they said, and they were talking about how, Richie was always accused of being a cheat. And
Yeah.
they spoke to one of the international refs, and they said, and he said that one of the comments he gets was like fans would come up to him and be like, why does Richie get away with so much stuff? Why do you guys just let him cheat? And his response was, he just knows where the line is. He just knows what he could do.
Yeah. And that's a skill.
Like,
That's the skill.
I
The
think-
same as having quick feet. The same as having a great pass. Being able to get away with what you can get away with.
Richie
is-
was a freakish human being.
Yeah.
He was dux at his school.
Yeah.
Like he was top of every single class that he could have.
Yeah.
Like he was just incredibly
as like
driven.
a teenager or even maybe even preteen. He was like, I know I'm not the quickest or strongest
Yeah.
player on my team, but I'm going to be the fittest. And this is like, I wouldn't
Yeah.
even do that now. I don't have the determination to do anything like that now.
Yeah.
And he's doing that at that age. That is just mental illness territory, but in a positive way.
He said that when he was about 8, he had a moment where he realized to himself that he wanted to make the most of every opportunity that came his way. Oh, no, actually, I think he said he was like 12. He wanted to make the most of every opportunity that came his way, and he didn't want to be an old person thinking, oh, I wish I did that a little bit better.
Who the hell has that kind of insight at that age?
No, yeah, mentally. Like, I remember...
Maybe he should have just cured cancer. Like, do that instead.
Yeah.
Then we would have missed out on some great rugby.
Yeah,
And 2 World
it's
Cups.
strange. I heard, like... I went to school with Anthony Borich and Rudy Wolf, and I remember didn't have this conversation with Anthony Borich, but a mate of mine who lived with him said that they were talking about when he was on tour and being on tour with Richie, like they'd go out and Richie would never go out.
Right.
He would never do he'd be a good team man. But
have you seen The Kick? The
Yeah,
Stephen
yeah,
Donald
yeah,
movie?
yeah.
They also portray Richie as a little bit kind of standoffish.
Yeah.
Like kind of quiet, like not like when the boys have been boys around like one of their houses having a party, like he's still, like you say, like
he's just deep in thought. Yeah.
yeah.
What
So
is-
yes,
Anyway.
referees.
How do we get
I mean,
on to
you,
Richie?
you can manage them to a degree. Like I said, you manage them as best you can. I don't think they're probably going to be the deciding factor when you consider all the
Do you know
facts that
what's
decide
sad?
a game.
I should be well and truly over it. But like whenever I think about bad refereeing,
Wayne Barnes,
I just think about that.
2007.
I just think about that forward pass. I just think because that broke my heart. Him missing that forward pass broke me.
Yeah.
That was painful. So I think like if that happens, unfortunate, unlucky, but hey, they should have been in a better position to be able to compensate for that.
Tony just opened his beer. Yeah.
Sorry, that was an exciting moment, wasn't it?
Referees are going to get them as right as they can.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
I wasn't expecting that.
if there's ever a game where a team like doesn't miss any tackles, doesn't drop any passes, kicks all their goals, and then like loses the game because the referee ruled against them, then I'll be like, yeah, you guys were robbed.
There's a
But for the most part, there's going to be stuff ups all around the park.
there's a game where Fiji were playing France in 1991.
Oh yeah.
And it's it might have been completely down the middle, but in terms of some of the calls against the Fijians, and some of the calls, that's the only one I've ever seen where I've been like, this looks a little suspect.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely don't think there are any player referees out there that are cheating in any way.
Yes. They're just trying to do their job at
And
best.
like players make
like,
mistakes,
I've seen a
referees
couple of
make
videos
mistakes.
about like people talk about the feedback of the refs and whatnot. They go through a horrendous review process. Like one of it might have been Ben O'Keefe was talking about, like after the game, they have to like rewatch the game and then like give themselves a score about how well they think they did, and then they get a bunch of questions and clips from both of the coaches to say like, these are ones we have questions about. Why did you rule this? And then they have to give that feedback back. Like, I ruled this because of this, or no, I think you're right. You got a point. So it sounds like it's like the refereeing on the day. It's just like that's the cool part for them.
Yeah.
All the rest is homework.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because
It's like going to training. It's just like
it sounds like a lot of bookwork, doesn't it?
yeah, heaps of it.
And like a lot of stress and a lot of pressure. And one of the things we always cry out for as fans is accountability. Like they should front the media. They should say that. So it'd be amazing if we saw a little bit of that process, man.
The closest we've got is that whistle watch with Nigel Owens, but it's very kind of lighthearted and it's very quick, and it's pretty rare that he goes against the decisions that they made. Sometimes he does. He's like, no, that wasn't a yellow card. The referee made a mistake on that one. But for the most part, he kind of toes the line. It does feel like they could go a little bit more with that instead of like, because like there's about 3 minutes of him with the whistle watch, and then he's like, oh, here's your fans' questions.
I got fans questions.
Yeah. So it's, I don't know. We'll go with one more, eh? The one that you wanted, Desert Croft. World Cup being played in France. What is your favorite? We'll just do quick fire for you. I don't have favorites of most of these things. Favorite wine?
Is it a French wine or a
Just favorite wine.
Pinot Noir? Central Otago, probably Roaring Meg.
Pastry.
A pie.
Jazz
Or
instrument.
Pinot Chocolat for if it's French. Jazz instrument, like a bit of Miles Davis, bit of trumpet.
Okay. Type of drink to get at a cafe.
Flat white. Coffee.
Philosopher.
Um,
Don't know if I have a favorite philosopher.
Jean Piaget.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Joseph also asked, how do you know each other? This guy cold called me.
Yeah. I stood outside his house. I was like, talk to me, Mark.
I will say, I don't get it regularly.
Yeah.
But every now and again, I will get essentially cold calls from people who are like, do you want to be on my podcast, my show, my new... Usually it's like, I've just started a new YouTube channel. Do
Yeah.
you want to be on it? And usually
What did I do?
I'm like, no.
I don't think
because
I asked.
I'm not a huge fan of online engagement.
Yeah, I don't think
Although I am
actually
going to do one tomorrow with not you. But
enjoy it.
the fact that you live 10 minutes down the road from me was probably a big factor.
I actually just wanted to. I think I wanted to pick your brain about YouTube because I had a couple of videos that were kind of popping off at the time, and when I said
we
popping
just
off,
talk some shop.
just took a bit of YouTube stuff, and like obviously with the idea that potentially we could do something, but
Yeah.
if we didn't get along, it would have been.
No.
If you left my house that day and I was
What a
like,
wanker.
"Geez, I didn't want to see him again," I probably wouldn't have. But I was like, yeah, and then you, I think you hung out like 2 times before.
2 or 3 times we just came and hang out and just
Yeah.
talk some stuff.
We talk more YouTube than rugby, to be honest.
Probably.
We talk probably a lot more YouTube behind the scenes about stats and what videos are doing and yada, yada, yada. But then I think you said, well, let's just shoot something. And I was like, okay. And then
I think you had the idea for a podcast.
yeah, well, we shot that and I was like, this is basically a podcast, isn't it? Really. We shot our the first episode and it was just one of your videos essentially that I just put the graphic at the front of it and I was like, and then the next week it was a podcast.
There you go.
Now we're like 40 of them. I think we
At
made like
least.
40 of them, something like that.
It's going all right.
Yeah, we're managing. We're doing it. It's the big
Like I said, the fact that you're 10 minutes down the road from me
helps.
is...
Like it's better than doing it. Like there's so many of these things where it's just one guy on one side, one guy on the other. We've done a couple of those when we've had to.
Yeah, you had COVID once, and then when I was in China once.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
I think it works better in person.
Yeah, I think so. Like we can actually have a beer and chat and
Yeah.
you know, it's good.
We actually talk after the podcast finishes filming. I stay here for like an hour and drink his tea.
Yeah.
We watch YouTube.
We drink. There's 3 specific drinks that we have. There's a coffee beforehand.
Well, I didn't have coffee today.
We didn't know coffee today. Poor
Usually
servant.
coffee before.
Coffee before,
Beers during.
and tea after.
Yeah, it's like a routine.
Yeah, it might rustle up a ginger nut now and then. Yeah.
I go to town on the ginger nuts.
Yeah.
So got to be cautious with them. Now that we've finished, sorry if I didn't get to your questions. We got through as many as we could. There was one about UFC, but I didn't read it out.
Francis Ngannou.
Okay.
That's the answer.
Okay. World Cup games.
That's a good question, though. You should have asked that.
France against New Zealand is Saturday morning for us.
Screaming.
What
Sorry,
a
I
game.
grabbed the microphone down.
What a game.
What a game. What a game. And I've got a real quandary on my hands. Actually, so I rang... I'm meant to be taking my daughter to football right at the time that's opening.
Ouch.
And it's a real bad look if I say, no, I'm not going to go.
Because of rugby.
Yeah, because of rugby, and her stepdad is the coach. So, like, bad look. So
Poor
I think...
parenting.
Yeah. But he, I think... So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my mother to take her.
Okay.
And I feel sad for my mum's such the nicest woman in the world.
Right.
But I asked her today, and she said, oh, yeah. And then she said, I'll watch it afterwards when I get home. And she loves rugby.
Oh, man.
I know. But, yeah.
I remember at the last World Cup,
I'm
I also had
kind of hoping there's like an
I had
email
a
coming out
slight
cancelling it.
falling out with my mother.
Oh, really?
We get along like a house on fire. She's also very nice, but once when I wanted to do like a live stream with Gaza,
Yeah.
I kind of assumed that she would be happy to
Look after the children.
help with the kids. Because I think my wife was going to be there as well, but my wife, because the kids were a lot younger then, they were like, my daughter was a baby.
Yes.
So, or like a 1-year-old or something. So she was like,
well, Maddie would have been. a
yeah,
baby,
so
but-
not real keen on just doing things solo for like a few hours or something. And my mum was just like, the hell makes you think I want to look after the bloody kids? I want to watch the rugby.
I looked after you.
Yeah,
I did
exactly.
it. Yeah.
My time was done.
Yeah.
that's-
But okay, sorry. So what's going to happen? We talked about our situation.
That's a big one.
It's a massive one. The All Blacks will be wanting to make a statement. The French will be fired up as all balls, having their opener in the the Stade Francais or Stade Paris. What is it called?
Stade Francais.
Stade Francais. It's
No, Stade de France. Stade Francais
Stade
is
Francais.
a rugby club.
Yeah, sorry. And it's about
We don't speak French.
both teams will be incredibly motivated. Could be an absolute cracker. I hope it's a fantastic game, and I hope
Should be one of the games of the tournament.
I hope we win it. And who's gonna win it though? I'm gonna say I'm picking with 45% of my head and 95% of my heart, and I'm saying New Zealand.
I'll go France then. Fozzie to be the first coach of New Zealand to lose a pool game, just to add another record that he doesn't want.
I'm being a lot nicer on Foz these days, by the way.
Italy should hammer Namibia.
Yes.
Ireland should hammer Romania.
Aye, aye.
Australia, Georgia. That's a nice one for Eddie Jones because that's not. I mean, there's not really an easy games in that pool. That's a tough pool.
If they lose,
Portugal
if they lose to Georgia, and Georgia will be looking to tip them up, and they'll be going in there with all intent to win. If they lose to Georgia, then that's basically.
Does Eddie get sacked?
Well, that's their World Cup basically as good as
Get Dave
done.
Rennie in.
Yeah. Jeez,
Get Dave back.
Get him in, Dave.
If this was Dave Rennie's Australia,
Oh boy! Oh,
and
boy.
you were saying it's Australia, Georgia,
I think it's. I feel
you'd be
so
saying
sorry.
Australia all day long, right?
100%.
I mean, shit, it's Australia all day long. Surely.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying that. Didn't they? Who they lose? They lost to Italy last year, right?
And Italy has lost to Georgia before, so it could happen.
Rugby math.
Rugby math. What else we got? Maybe the second tastiest one in this weekend's fixtures is England without Owen Farrell taking on Argentina.
Argentina are going to win that for my money, just based on form.
England's form is shocking.
Balls. When was the last time Argentina got a win, other than against like one of the South American teams? Didn't they play Spain or some crap?
Yeah, they didn't do much in the warm-ups. They were very quiet.
So they're a bit of an unknown, really. So they
The rugby championship form was okay.
they scratched out a win against Australia, didn't they?
They did. It was a
And that was so they got one more win than Australia did.
yes. They lost both their games against South Africa, and they lost the game to us.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna give that to Argentina just based on form, but it could, that would be a good if England could put on a commanding performance and like get a good victory.
Maybe
Then
things turn around. Right the ship.
changes the whole complexion of their World Cup. Maybe
Japan are taking on Chile, which should be pretty
Japan.
lopsided. Then I'm like getting tingles just looking at
getting a
these
little
last
calendars
two.
there.
Getting the calendars. South Africa take on Scotland.
I really rate Scotland. I think Scotland are one of the best teams in the world. I think Van der Merwe may be the best outside back in 2023. I don't think we've even seen the best of him. I think Finn Russell is in career best form right now. I think they have an enthusiastic, competent pack with some mobile back rowers. They are a hard team to beat, but they're playing the world champions who have got a head full of steam and will be doing
Having 7 fours on the bench.
Yeah, and doing everything they possibly can to win that game. So if South Africa do something, what do you think is going to be their bench strategy?
I think it's 6-2.
6-2?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't think they're going to do the 7-1?
I think we will see it again before the World Cup is done, but I'm not sure they do it in the opener.
Do you think they do it in their... It's such a massive risk to do in a knockout game even. You reckon they do it in a knockout game?
I mean, if they think that's the best strategy to win the game, then yeah, I think they do.
But they... it's such a risk. So is it the best strategy to take a massive risk?
Maybe.
Right. Oh, yeah. I love Scotland, but I think...
You think South Africa going to win that one?
I think, yeah, you've got to go with your head there and say South Africa. And, like, that's no offense to South African people. I've just been really...
It's a plucky underdog, man. I mean,
we're neutrals.
We would love to see Scotland on the other side of the draw.
Yeah.
The fact that they're in that pool with the number 1 and 2 teams in the
also,
world just sucks.
And as soon as Scotland get a win, for the rest of the tournament, for the rest of the fans outside that pool, we all just go, or it's a cat amongst the pigeons now. It's like there's
Yeah.
so many permutation. It brings in like
That pool
points differential into it.
Yeah, you
all
could
sorts.
legit see like Ireland beat
pop, pop, pop,
Scotland,
pop, pop.
Scotland beat South Africa. But you could
Yeah.
legit see every team get a loss. It
Yeah.
wouldn't be
And
beyond
it's
the realms
down
of
to-
possibility.
It's down to who had the closest game
Yeah,
against Tonga.
that could be great.
Yeah,
You never know.
scary.
Wouldn't it be so Scottish to like beat one of them and then lose to Tonga? I think I've said that before.
Yeah.
Wales Fiji is the last one. Speaking of spicy,
Yeah, I'm gonna give that. Sorry, my friends in the valleys. Fiji. I think we'll win that. And when are all these games taking place? What times?
so 7 a.m. for the first one.
7 a.m.
That's Saturday for us, which will be
Lovely.
a Friday in France.
Is
And then
it-
you got 11 p.m. the same day. So you go morning game all the day as a break because it's overnight in Europe. And then
Yeah.
nighttime for us, 11 p.m. Italy, Namibia.
Oh, okay.
1:30 in the morning for Ireland, Romania.
Okay.
4 a.m. for Australia, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
And then 7 a.m. for England, Argentina. That's my sleep schedule's looking buggered.
So I'm gonna be awake for New Zealand and I'll watch you kind of. So I can wake up. I'm okay. I'm okay.
Okay.
Like we're just both thinking about our own prerogatives there.
Yeah.
So you'll be watching all of that. All of that live.
I don't think I can.
Commit.
I don't think I
You're-
can stay up for that many hours.
So when are you going to? When would you be getting your sleep?
I don't know. I have to sleep. I can't do all the games live. I can't do all the.
You're not
instant
going to
match
Kiwi
reports.
Lads it? Kiwi Lads is doing it all
I can't.
live.
I'm not a young man anymore. I got kids.
You do. You do have children.
Like as much as I like to sleep during the day,
We all like to sleep.
my kids do not necessarily stay quiet enough to let me sleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
You want to come around here? I've got a spare bedroom.
you're noisy though.
Mark! You want to play?
South Africa, Scotland's 3:45, and then Wales, Fiji's 7 a.m. the next day. So, yeah, there's some pretty hairy times there, but there's a few 7 a.m. games.
The ones I get really miffed with.
I think our time zone's better than Australia.
Monday morning.
Yeah, 7 a.m..
I don't want to watch that crap. Monday morning games suck. They're just so depressing. Because it's Monday morning. It's the most I actually don't really mind Monday
I
mornings.
don't have a Monday morning anymore.
Yeah, I know you don't, but like I have to go to work. Like it's not like it's Monday morning. Like, oh, I hate Mondays. It's Monday morning. It's just I've got to go to work. Like this is not a convenient time for me to like. I'm gonna get my kid out the door, get her to school. I have an 8:30 meeting that I have to go to every Monday,
Oh man,
and that's.
annual leave, man. What are you doing?
I want to use it when I'm actually on holiday.
I used it for rugby. Just saying,
Yeah.
last World Cup.
But you're a better man than I am. I've got to go. I've got holidays planned.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not going to Queenstown tomorrow. I'm going to Queenstown next week. By the way.
Okay.
So oh god. So
Tough life.
that's a tough life. Yeah, that's going to be a big week. A big week. Oh my god. And is there much rugby?
This is the first podcast where we've not talked about any games that actually happened.
North Harbour played. Let's talk about a game. North Harbour played Waikato. They got the first one of the season, and Shooter McGavin scored.
There you go.
There you go. Auckland played Southland.
Southland, they beat them easily.
RTS looked very nice. Looked very good out there.
And the Wars lost to the Dolphins. They got hammered.
The Warriors lost their final game of the round robin. They rested 80% of their team, and the what do you call them? What do you call the team? The grab runners, the second grade
Dirt trackers.
Dirt trackers. That's the one I was looking for. The dirt trackers, yeah,
Showed why they're not the starting fish.
showed why they're
Third
not this.
team.
And then we've got our finals game. Oh, big weekend of sport next weekend. Our first finals game against Penrith, which are the guys who won the minor premiership for like 1 place 4.
Yeah.
And if you win that game, then you get a bye, and then you get to have a semi-final. Otherwise, you have to go back into it.
Yeah.
So we've got a second chance because we're in
You
the
know
top
what my
4.
dad's reaction to that was?
What?
They're not going to beat Penrith.
Penrith are very good.
My dad also likes league.
Yeah, Penrith, the Panthers are great. But we do get the big debate right now going on is when we get our final, it's meant to be an Australian prime time, which is 7:50 Australian time,
So it's 9 o'clock over here.
9:50 9:50, 10 p.m. kickoff.
Wow, that's weird.
Yeah. And
We're not
and
used to being in that situation here in New Zealand.
They're trying to not cop that. They're trying to say, nah, we're not going to do it. We're going to play 6 p.m. We'll do 4 p.m. at your time.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that was exciting for everybody to hear all that, wasn't it?
Rugby World Cup.
Rugby World Cup. It's exciting, man. I'm very excited. Sorry if we were a little bit. I think I was definitely a little bit.
I'm knackered because, like I said, I've been out all day.
Yeah.
I've been doing rugby. I've been doing depth charts. I don't mean to bitch because I love doing them, but it's just so much screen time without moving. And then today I was just running around after my kids today at an amusement park. So yeah.
Yesterday I had to move a friend's spa, which was. Don't do anything nice for people.
None of my friends have spas.
Yeah, I had to move, and that was painful. We had to pick it up from Walkworth, and anyway. And then, so that took most of the bloody day. And then I shot my video last night.
Yep.
My Why the All Blacks Will Win. And usually...
Let's chuck a card up there.
There you go.
Not to 2 Cents on Tour, my China channel. But to Tony's video. I just watched it. It's a good video.
Why the All Blacks will definitely not win the World Cup and why they definitely will win the World Cup.
That's a good video.
So I spent all day editing that. So by the time I just finished editing and I just uploaded it when you turned up. And
good man.
I know I was a little bit punch drunk. I'd say. So then I decided to drink some alcohol.
To make things worse.
Absolutely. But anyway, mate, it's all go. And as I gave a little teaser for last week, there's exciting things happening on this particular channel, 2 Cents Rugby. Are you able to give any sort of insights as to what may be coming up for your viewers?
Tomorrow?
Yeah. Are you able to say?
I think so.
You're just going to tell them?
I guess.
Tell them.
I'm supposed to talk to a couple of former players tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And talk about Rugby World Cup. Kind of like what I'm doing with you.
But I'm not a former
but you're not a former international rugby player, so...
I did play for Rosny College.
There you go. It's more or less the same thing. I'll be asking them the same questions I asked you.
Yeah. You asked them
I'll be asking, what's your favourite wine? What's your favourite pastry? This was just a dry run.
All right. Anyway, good work.
Good man.
Fantastic. You can listen to this wherever you get your podcasts.
Take care, folks.
Ta-da.